Greetings everyone, Kharam the Druid here with another video. Last time we took you into one of my favorite dungeons, which was Utgard Keep. Today we're going to take you to one of my least favorite dungeons, Azol Nerub, I think is the correct pronunciation of it. In any case, the reason why I don't like this very much is quite simple. I hate bugs. Bugs are the most disgusting, vile creatures on the planet. And the fact that there's a whole dungeon dedicated to one really doesn't please me in the least. Nevertheless, off we go. Of course, I set focus to the tank so as to keep a close eye on him and make sure that he gets the heals that he needs. And you'll see as we go down the tunnel here, a couple of little mobs, nothing too major. At the end of this tunnel, though, is the first boss, and it's probably one of the earliest boss encounters in most dungeons that I've seen. But the thing is, he has 3 distinct mobs in front of him that you basically have to take out one at a time, preferably from left to right, and then encounter the boss. The mobs themselves are actually quite nasty because they'll throw out a poison to all the party members, and they'll also do some kind of webbing thing where you're basically trapped in a web for a couple seconds and you're not really able to do anything. And as you see here, the tank goes for the mob right at the entrance. This is not one of the boss mobs that I just mentioned a few minutes ago. This is kind of a separate one. But you'll see here, for whatever reason, either the tank or the DPS or something decides to aggro all of the groups at once, which is not a good idea. I try to shadow meld here to no avail. Try to run toward the tank, hoping he or the DPS will pick it up, and of course they don't. And when the healer dies, most of the time, the rest of your party is going to die too. Not really a big deal though, because wipes happen. Let's face it. And right after the loading screen here, I'm going to fast forward it just a little bit for you, so as not to bore you too much. As you can see, I believe it was the tank that took responsibility for that. Again, no big deal. So I run back. And I don't believe there's anybody to resurrect. Yeah, never mind. I actually did resurrect one. And fast forward through the action a little bit here. You'll see everything goes much smoother the second time. And again, the webbing effect that I told you about earlier. And as we fast forward through the action here, I wanted to give you a little bit more insight on that move that I just mentioned a few minutes ago. Anytime as a healer, whenever you pull aggro or aggro starts to come at you, there's a number of things as a druid that I do. One of the main things is shadow meld, so that I'll basically disappear and the mob will go back to the tank. If that doesn't work, then I'll usually run towards the tank, hoping that either the tank or one of the DPSs pick him up. And you'll see as the first boss here, as we got rid of all 3 groups by now, you'll see at towards the end, right before he dies, he unleashes some of his little pets on you. Not a big deal, nothing a little AoE spell can't get rid of. And you'll see, got to deal with a couple little groups here. Nasty creatures, if you ask me. Because again, I don't like bugs. Never did, probably never will. Once we get through this group, you'll see a big, nasty spider come up. That is the second of the 3 bosses in this dungeon. The best way to do this is just to hang back, let the boss take care of the little mob there for you, and then come after you, which of course, that's what happens here. But there you go, down she goes, and off we go, all the way down. This is always, if there's any part that's fun, it's probably this one, just because of the long pull that you have. And now we come to the main boss, but first, just a quick little mob of 2 here. Again, not a big deal at all. You can get through that rather easily. And after this, you'll want to all go inside the little circle that's just above us there. Because if anybody gets left out, there's a barrier that comes up, and if they're outside the barrier, they can't be healed. They're pretty much on their own basically at that point. As you can see, the warlock gives us a little summon there. He actually ends up summoning the wrong thing. He wanted to summon the Soul Stone, I believe. And you'll see an obligatory congratulations to one of my guildmates who just leveled. Obviously, always a good thing to see, especially with a lot of the guild implementations that Blizzard has. And everybody picks up a health stone. I called it a soul stone before. I apologize. Wrong name, wrong item. Health stones come in handy for obvious reasons, because it's a one-shot heal. It's basically like having an extra heal spell, but it's only good for one time. Tank ask if we're ready. Always a polite thing to do as a tank. And we go all in, and here we go. One of the main things about this boss is every couple minutes or so he'll bury himself into the ground. Some aggro comes up, various different types of bugs. They're not all that powerful though. Nothing that can easily be defeated in a couple of strikes. You'll see throughout the whole thing though that I keep Life Bloom up on the tank and basically just spot heal everybody else with rejuvenation mostly. And every now and then a wild growth if I see everybody taking a little bit of damage. Wild growth is a good way to boost everybody up at once and basically get caught up on the healing. And you'll see I aggro one or two here and there, not a big deal. Boss comes back up and we're back on the boss again. And I'm going to fast forward it just a little bit here because it's just basically a wash, rinse, repeat all the way through. Definitely want to be careful of the spikes that come up. You'll see kind of a ground rumbling effect before they come up. And if you're standing there, you definitely want to move before those come up because they can do a little bit of damage. And again, he buries himself in the ground. Aggro comes, we kill it. Boss comes back up. We get back on the boss. And down he goes. And you'll see that he has some pretty decent drops for the level and everything. We kill the last of the nasty little bugs. And that about wraps it up for this dungeon. Give my little parting routine here. And as I hang out with my homies here, I want to remind you to hit the subscribe button and leave your comments down below. Always appreciate it, and I'll answer when I can. And that will do it for me. This is Kharam the Druid. Until next time, people, happy healing.